What's up, guys? Welcome to Nephilim Files. Today we've got another really interesting show for you. We got 3 separate breakdowns showing an enormous creature, as of yet unclassified by science, but comparable to what's been described in ancient history, the Nephilim. Check this thing out. So at some point in our lives, we're all faced with, realities that we don't necessarily want to face, and it looks like there's another creature with him or something. I just know, in looking at the things that I've had to face, like, enormous creatures. You can see the bridge, the nostrils, both of the eyes, the big shelf brow, and then the head's right here. We can see it, the nostrils, the eye, it's shining back at me, you guys. Look at that. He opened his eye and he looked, and he's squinting, and he's got like a little pissy look on his face. Look at that giant cone-headed hominoid in the bushes over there. I guess this is probably his shoulder, but it's enormous, and it's frightening, man. You can see his nostrils flaring there. Look at that. Oh, the eye itself. Look at them. Is this the mouth line right here? Does he have like a big wide flat jaw? Does it look like ridiculously cartoonish? Because it sure as hell does right here. The scary part of all of this is it's close to home now. And what is this? It honestly does resemble some kind of like hair sticking up or something. I'm not sure if we're getting all of it at the right angle there, but it sure does. And it looks like kind of like a mohawk. It's like weird. But there he is, and you can see him. It's not something that someone's trying to convince you of. There are orbs right here, and it looks like possibly a smaller creature, the brow, and then the sweep of the head right here. In deciphering the footage, you can see the nostril on this. It looks exactly like, this looks like a totem pole in the Pacific Northwest is what that looks like. And I like the nose flare part right there. And you can see he's kind of shifting, I guess, right there, and like looking at me a little bit. Then he like kind of looks to his left a little bit, and you can see that in the footage, man. He's like, oh, this guy's looking at me, because I was looking the other way, and it didn't seem like there was anything. And then all of a sudden, I caught a glint. What's this glint? I'm saying to myself, and here he is. So it's pretty startling to see the hair, coming off of his shoulders and all that, but you can see it. He's got a bunch of hair coming off. Is it in a mohawk? I don't know, man, but it looks like he's got a lot of hair coming up. Full brow, full face. How tall? Again, this is a really large creature. The footage we went over last night to find him, which was one of the in the field videos. I go on the hunt in my clips when I'm looking for an individual. I thought I saw something over there. It was real dark. My eyes couldn't make it out. It seemed like it was shifting shades and had a little sparkle, like a line of sparkle. I think I was seeing something off the brow at times, and in the nature that there was like a line over there. You can see it, and I caught that glint, and I thought, my goodness, So I've been going back, and this time I actually got him, and it's about as good as you can expect to get him from 175 to 200 yards away. That's the DJI Osmo at work right there, man. That's a great camera, because we can plainly see there's a gigantic Nephilim, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call him, Skookum. This thing's enormous. Again, I went over this in the field video, but this is for everybody here. This is the 6 foot area, somewhere in here, right? We're looking at 6 foot somewhere in here. This creature is 18, 20 feet tall. There's no telling how far back in he is. Though he's visible, we know he's in front of this tree. The power lines are a good 75 yards behind him. There are significant topographical things going on here. And this creature is attempting to be in a very slim portion of a corridor. It's interesting to me, but he's reached the end. This is the end of the corridor. He can't go any further. And I'm fishing, and hearing noises, and this is what I'm getting when I go home and look at the footage. You can all plainly see that thing. You know, this nonsense going on online where people are behaving as though this isn't happening. Boy, somebody better wake up. Thanks for watching. So this part here of the footage, you can see he's actually looking at me, which is pretty amazing because most of the breakdown he was kind of looking on an angle, or his head was on an angle, but here he has turned and he's looking at me, and you know, it's like you can see his shape now, and comes down to those big shoulders, man. I mean, this is a frightening reality here. You can see his brow, and underneath his brow, exactly what you should see is there. The balls of gigantic nocturnal eyes. These particular retinas that are allowing this light to be refracted back so we can see something there in the shape of the actual lens that's, you know, on the front. It's like amazing. You can see that this thing is an ambusher at night, and he's watching, and I don't know you know, how bad it is for him, because if you look here, these are shelves that stick up off his head. We call them brows, but on these guys, these things are enormous, and they probably stick out a couple inches, I would imagine, to even a foot. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of highlight right here. Like, there's a shelf, and you can see the nocturnal eyeballs are in shadow, and in the bottom of the eye here, where you get this sucked in, drawn in, and you got the cheek fold. This is all nostril from one nostril, and here's the bridge. This is the Sasquatch nostril. It comes out to the eye. Sometimes the edge of the eye, the center of the eye. It's way wider than a human's, right? And it's that totem pole look, right? We've got the big lined forehead with a little split. And it does appear that from this angle, there's some shape to this nose, which is interesting, because from the other angle, it didn't appear that that was the case. But he does appear to have a really strange soft tissue thing going on here. I think there's something else in front of him. I don't necessarily think it's his hand, and I think there's a couple small ones with him. This appears to be the brow of a smaller creature, and it does appear to be in front of the enormous one. But though we can still make out that retina, you know, you can see it back there. This is huge. How tall is this again? We're at 6 foot somewhere in this neighborhood right here. Actually, you know, we could take the higher ones if you guys like. I'm going to say this is somewhere in, yeah, no, we're going to have to, because I've been there. So this is the 6 foot range. These are some real big ones. 6, 12, 18 to 20 feet is what I'm saying. 17 to 20 feet is somewhere in there. It's enormous, man. Enormous. It's too close. We're going through this footage again, and a little under the weather today. We've got this tropical thing slamming Florida, and I instantly started feeling like I was like gonna explode, man. But sinus bullcrap. So, but we were looking at our dude, and from the other reviews, and I'm just kind of scrolling footage looking for mouth chewing or anything like that, and it appears we've got some chewing going on behind the scenes back there, and you can see here being the upper lip, right? We got our head. If you're with us on what's in there, then this part of it is moving down behind that leaf, and you can see we got that chew kind of, you see it? Yeah, and it's repeated right there again. You can see it. Whatever this guy is, this enormous thing, it's eating. And I get repeated questions about this. There's no way. And I understand that the geniuses in the Bigfoot world have a difficulty with understanding anything to do with the physiology of any super predators and how they're drastically different in most cases. Here's a super predator nobody knows anything about. DNA tests from purported samples seem to suggest it's a chimera, which means the DNA can vary from individual to individual, right? Because Ketchum has 4 different samples, all of them different, with different traits in heredity. that make up each one of the samples. We're talking about samples from 10 to 12 years ago that have 3 million base pairs, 4 million base pairs, more than enough, like psychotic amount of DNA to study. And it's been thoroughly looked at. So when we look at it, we're looking at some kind of a hybrid chimera, but it is also in the Ketchum work on the DNA of these strange creatures, that they could have variations within the same family group, because we're dealing with genetic hybridization, and it's very simple in the genetics. The way she describes it can sound complicated when she's getting into technical terms, but the reality of this is these guys are hybrids, big time, right? And the male progenitor has been very interesting, very, very interesting. And so that's the part where I say it could be the Nephilim, right? So we don't know what it is. It's unknown hominid. Well, that's not every sample that Ketchum had. Look at that head. See, what we're doing is we're going through and we're finding really good frames. You can see part of the ear here, but it's perfect. Here he is. This is a great frame. And I found this just before I started, I think. And we're working our way backwards now from that frame. And we can see how the aberration takes effect on us, right? I mean, we're still, even though we've got crisp edge and we can see our enormous Nephilim hominoid here, hybrid, whatever you want to call this thing, it's definitely outside the range of normal what anyone reports, because the 6 foot range is somewhere in this area. And I've said it over and over again, the tops of these saw palmettos that are right here, and that's all that is saw palmetto. We've made adjustments to make it so that we can see the creature better. This is more accurate. Here it is, actual. That's what I shot right there. And when we go through the frames, we gotta let it render. But once that renders, and it looks like it's good now, you can see the aberration. Just looking over there, you just look like you're looking at a couple bushes. It does not appear to be this, right? And if we adjust our exposures and bring our light back down, we can get this almost normal again. We just got to do the right somewhere around. And look at that. Now, if you even had an opportunity to witness that out of your periphery, if you know what's going on in these woods, you know what's going on. But the reality is, it's a considerable distance away, and you can't tell me what's over there or where it's at. Yes, there's a hint. Power lines are over here, so our creature's, in point of fact, right here. He's huge. He's enormous, man. These banks are huge, and he's also quite a ways back. Let's make sure on that. We got the tree right there. Yeah, that's him. That's him right there.